This video is about linked lists, and in it we'll be talking about doubly linked lists. So in linked lists there is a node which has a value. In this case, this node's value is 1, and each node also has a next pointer and a previous pointer, since it's a doubly linked list that we're looking at. And originally, if you have a list of just one node, the next and previous are both null. And as well in this structure, we have a head pointer and a tail pointer. Now the head pointer points to the front of the list, and the tail pointer points to the end of the list. And so we're going to look at adding to the end of the list and what that looks like first. So to add to the end of the list, you create the second node that you're going to want. So in this case, it's this 2 node. And then you rearrange the pointer so that the 2 node is included in the end. So first things that we notice is next for 1 became 2, and previous for 2 is 1. The tail pointer now points to 2 because 2 is now the end of the list, and next for 2 goes to null since 2 is now the end of our list. We also look at adding to the front. So to add to the front of the list, we create this new node 3. And again, the pointers got rearranged, right? 3's next is 1. 1's previous is 3. Head is now 3, since 3 is now the beginning of our list. And the previous for 3 is null, because the end caps are always this null, which means nothing, right? And so now we're going to look at adding in the middle. Adding to the middle is one of the more complicated things that you can do, right? Because the rearranging of the pointers is more complicated. So we're going to do that a step at a time. So the first things first is that 1's next pointer now points at 4 instead of 2. And now 2's previous pointer points to 4 instead of 1. So we did it in this order so that way we didn't lose track of any pointers, didn't break the chain. And now 4's previous pointer points to 1. And its next pointer points to 2. So whenever we rearrange this to make it look a little bit prettier, we have this structure. See, 4 got inserted between 1 and 2 with no issues, and all the next pointers on the previous pointers are what makes sense. Okay, so now there is this idea of iterating, and it's how we move through our list. So we have this pointer that points to current, and it always starts at the head node. And now we can go forward and backwards in the list by calling .previous or .next from wherever current is. So if we go do .next, now current is pointing at the 1 node, and if we do it again, it's pointing at the 4 node. And if we do .previous, it's pointing at the 1 again. So we can move our iterator along our list backwards and forwards using .previous or .next to get to different nodes, which is helpful in some situations, like if you wanted to print out all of your linked lists. And we'll look at this more whenever we get to the code for this in the next video. Okay, so now we're going to look at deleting from the middle of the list. Deleting from the middle of the list is also really important that we don't break the chain. So we're going to do this a pointer at a time, again, just like we did adding to the middle. So the .next from 3 gets marked to 4 first, so that way we don't break the chain of nexts. And then the next from 1 to 4 went away. And in the same way, the previous from 4 to 1 becomes from 4 to 3. And then the previous from 1 to 3 goes away. So now 1 is totally detached, but this chain didn't get broken. And now the 1 just goes away, right? So now we have this thing that has only that has only 3 nodes in it with 4 in the center. Now I'm going to look at deleting from the end. So you can tell from this slide to this one, the 2 has gone away. And the way that we did that was we just set 4's next value to be null, and we moved where the tail was pointing. And that way that detached the 2 and it just went away. And in the same way, deleting from the front is the same, right? We have this 3 and then 4, and to delete the 3, we just set 4's previous to null and head to 4, and then it was gone, right? So that's all deleting from the front looks like, and deleting the same way with deleting from the back. It was super easy, and now we're back to this list of a single node with a value of 4 with head and tail pointing towards it. So that is just the brief overview of linked lists, and the video below this will be a step-by-step implementation of the linked list code for doing all these things we looked at here visually.